Okay, so you guys are not going to believe this, but Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni, all that legal drama going on, it just got even crazier. We're talking Hugh Jackman level crazy, like Wolverine stepping into the ring.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. It's really something how these things, start with like two people and then suddenly it's this whole tangled web of everybody.
It's Hollywood, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Like
Yes,
it's contagious. So we are going to do a deep dive today, and we've got some juicy stuff. Basically, someone online like broke down this whole Hugh Jackman thing, why he's involved, what it says about Ryan Reynolds. I mean, you name it. It's all connected. And, we're going to break it down for you guys.
I think a good place to start would be to ask, what do Baldoni's lawyers think Jackman knows? I mean, they're really going after this deposition. Like, they think he's holding some kind of smoking gun. Oh, yeah, they are not messing around. Daily Mail even called it a surprising new twist. And, I mean, they're right. Baldoni's team, they want to know everything about how Ryan Reynolds was acting when they were filming It Ends With Us. And Jackman, well, he's like best friends with Reynolds, right? Plus, he was around Lively and Reynolds a lot back then. So, yeah, I guess his testimony could be, like, super important.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like they're trying to build this case about how Reynolds acts, not just with the whole promotion stuff, but even back when they were actually shooting the movie. And Jackman was right there in the middle of it all.
And this is where it gets kind of wild. The source we're looking at, they brought up the whole dog pool thing in Deadpool and Wolverine. Do you remember that?
Yeah, vaguely. What about it?
Well, you know how Dogpool doesn't really have the best time in those scenes, right?
Yeah.
Like, things get pretty rough for him.
Right, yeah.
Well, the theory is that maybe Reynolds was using those scenes to kind of, like, act out some stuff he had going on with Baldoni. I mean, it's just a theory, but it's...
Not interesting.
Oh, it is. And the timing is pretty suspect, too, right? They supposedly filmed all that dog pool stuff way later, like after the SAG-AFTRA strike. So it wasn't like it was always part of the plan. It seems like something they added in later, almost on purpose. And you got to wonder what Jackman knew about all of that, right? Like, did he pick up on any of that? Was he aware of why Reynolds might have been doing that?
I see what you mean. That's a really good point. I mean, how much did Jackman really know about what was going on with Reynolds behind the scenes? Best friends and all.
Right. And then there's that whole It Ends With Us promo video. Oof, that was a rough one. Like, not your typical movie promo, It felt a lot more pointed, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it did seem like it was aimed at someone, not just promoting the movie. And the fact that Reynolds, directed it and had his mom in it and Blake Lively and Jackman, that's a lot of big names for just a silly little promo video.
Oh, totally. And remember how Jackman was, playing himself in that scene with the guy who was supposed to be Justin Baldoni, and the stuff he was saying, it was like he was interviewing his best friend's wife's new love interest, Yeah. The guy trying to take his place, talk about awkward. It really felt like Reynolds was trying to make a statement, like he was putting Baldoni in his place publicly.
Yeah, it's like he was using his celebrity power and Jackman's to kind of intimidate Baldoni.
Yeah.
Hey, look who's on my side.
Exactly. And then, get this, Jackman was at the premiere of It Ends With Us.
Yeah.
Full on red carpet for a movie he wasn't even in. That just screams, I'm involved,
Yeah, no, that's not just a casual friend thing. You don't show up like that unless you're in the inner circle.
Yeah.
It's like, what were they talking about that led to that? He clearly knew more than he was letting on.
Okay, so this is where it gets even juicier. The source starts talking about Ryan Reynolds and all his bromances, like the one with Jake Gyllenhaal and stuff.
Yeah, I get it. He's a 48-year-old guy with 4 kids, right? Why is he trying so hard to make sure everyone knows about these bromances? It's a little much. What's he trying to prove?
Right. It's not like anyone's asking for a detailed explanation of male friendships, but Reynolds takes it to a whole other level. Liz Plank, right? Baldoni's podcast partner.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, Reynolds flew her all the way to the UK to be an expert in some documentary just to define what a bromance is.
Wait, seriously, her definition was literally just a platonic relationship between two men? Who needed that explained? It's a bit much, don't you think?
Oh, totally. And then the source points out all the gay jokes Reynolds makes, which is is anyone asking for this? Not the LGBTQ plus community, not straight people. It's just weird. It's all so calculated.
Yeah, I agree. It's like he's trying too hard to fit into some kind of image of what a guy should be. Are the bromances real, or are they just for show? And why all the jokes? It makes you wonder what he's trying to hide.
Right. Which brings us back to Hugh Jackman. Remember, he and his wife split up in September 2023 after 27 years. right when they paused filming on Deadpool and Wolverine.
Right, right. And that happened right around the time when all those rumors about Jackman's sexuality were swirling around again.
Oh, yeah, that's been going on for years, hasn't it? Like, people have always wondered about them, the age gap when they got married, the whole beard thing in Hollywood, and then the boy from Oz didn't exactly help, right? All that flamboyant energy and that kiss with his co-star.
No kidding. I remember that 60 Minutes Australia interview. Like, you could tell his wife was getting pretty fed up with the whole thing. It can't be easy, all that scrutiny.
And then, bam, divorce. And suddenly he's with Sutton Foster. It was so perfectly timed, so perfectly presented. The paparazzi pics in People magazine, the hand-holding, like, it was almost too perfect.
It does make you wonder, was it real, or was it just a way to manage the fallout from the divorce and the whole sexuality thing? Like, look, I'm totally straight. Here's my new girlfriend.
So put it all together. You've got Reynolds, Jackman's best bro. Right when Jackman's personal life is blowing up, you've got the constant rumors about Jackman, and then this super public new relationship. The source thinks this is why Blake Lively's lawyers are fighting so hard to keep certain information under wraps. Like, they're pushing for that attorney's eyes only designation, you know?
Yeah, the highly confidential information that could destroy the careers of third-party people involved stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, what could be that bad? Like, what kind of truth would end someone's career in Hollywood?
Right. It's got to be something big, something that would totally contradict their image, you know, like their sexuality, their brand, something like that. The judge, Judge Lon, did grant a limited AEO thing. It means the lawyers can mark documents as AEO if they agree, but if they disagree, the judge has to get involved.
So it's like a compromise.
Totally. But the tricky part is there are these 4 categories for AEO stuff: trade secrets, security measures, medical information, and then like super personal stuff. But there's a catch with that last one. It can't be relevant to the actual accusations in the case. And our source thinks that's where the real fight's going to be.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Like, what's personal and what's relevant? It's a gray area, right?
Oh, totally. And to illustrate it, the source made up this whole example with a text message, like something super scandalous between Taylor Swift and Justin Baldoni. Lively's team would say it's totally private and could ruin Swift, but Baldoni's side would be like, hold up. This proves they're all connected. It's a conspiracy. And honestly, I think Baldoni's right. Like, those messages could be really important to understand what was going on.
Yeah, I get it. It's like everyone deserves privacy, but if you're hiding something that's actually part of the case, well, you got to see both sides, right?
Yeah, for sure. And remember, the trial isn't until March 2026. This thing is going to drag on forever. Though, I wouldn't be surprised if Lively's side just settles. It seems like they're going to have a hard time with these depositions and keeping everything hidden. The judge even said it's on them to prove the information isn't relevant. That's going to be tough.
Yeah, especially if it's stuff like those text messages. Like, come on, they're totally relevant. They show the context for the promo videos and everything else.
Yeah.
You can't just sweep that under the rug.
Oh, and one last thing. Taylor Swift's apparently freaking out about getting dragged into this. The Daily Mail said she's, like, in hiding.
Whoa, really? That's interesting, what she's so afraid of. I mean, personally, I think you should act the same way in public and private. But hey, that's just me.
Right, like, if you've got nothing to hide, you've got nothing to hide. I think she's probably freaking out for a reason, don't you?
Yeah, maybe. There's definitely something going on there.
So, okay, big picture time. Hugh Jackman getting involved. That's a huge deal. It means things are getting really serious between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. And who knows what's going to come out about Ryan Reynolds. This whole thing is just one big mess of relationships and secrets. And it's all going to come down to what they can keep hidden and what they have to reveal.
And it made you think, right? Like, Hollywood, everyone's so obsessed with their image. But when things get real, when friendships and personal lives collide with the law, it's like that whole facade starts to crumble.
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, what are they so afraid of? What truths are they trying to protect?
It's a good question. I guess we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. This is one Hollywood story that's definitely not ending anytime soon.
Not a chance. This is just the beginning.